Howdy y'all, thank you for joining us today as we do a playthrough of Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. We are playing the Ulaf Clan. This is their player piece for score counter. These are their ships. Sorry, I'm not doing the green screen today. Didn't feel like setting it up and playing in a spot where the lighting is weird, so figured we'll just be doing this suck it up to the camera thing. I rolled randomly and we're doing Outpost for the solo. After long weeks of voyaging through the open seas, your clan has finally reached a steady piece of land. However, it happens to have restricted access to its grounds. You take what you can get and try to make the best of it. So it's a new one for me. The threshold that we're going to be trying to reach is 40. Let's put my little marker there for the 40. Go through the little simple things that I always do every single time. I don't use these for the round markers. Instead, I just put those down saying which round it is. But for the event thing, I roll a dice to randomly do it since there's 5 events. A D10 is what I roll. I usually put my spent workers here, so it's just put it underneath there just to save a little bit of time and space. So let's reveal the islands. One of the nearby islands is the Drunken Octopus Island. If I get this one, it lets me spend 1 person to gain some food. Seems cool. And the second nearby island is the Flying Dutchman. Then one of the distant islands is the New Island. You know, do free actions seems good. And the observation post. To draw 5 instead of 4 to look at. Seems pretty good also. I already did these randomly. So the Ulaf Clan, their starting basic fields are an apple orchard, a spruce forest, and a quiet gulf. I already shuffled the deck up. All right, let's go ahead and get our stuff to play with. We get 5 workers. So we got our 5 workers. We get food. We get 2 wood. And we get a fish. Sorry, it looks like we got some bad glare here and here. Hopefully, when I'm looking at the camera later, that won't be as bad. All right, I'm gonna draw my 5 cards. Last part of setup is I draw 5 of these. I get to keep 3. So what I drew was Watchtower, Storm, Quick Raid, Floki's Workshop, and Salmon Fjord. Choose to keep Quick Raid, Floki's Workshop, and Salmon Fjord. All right, so that's the 3 I chose. Let's look at Outposts and see if there's anything we should know. And I probably should have looked at this before making my choices. And I think I need to change anything. We'll look into it because I've never actually played this one. All right, so another setup change is the place to decide one of the unused clan decks and draw 5 cards from it. Place them face down in front of you as building sites. I'm limited to the number of action locations equal to the number of my building sites. To keep track of this, when building an action location, place its card on top of an empty building site. Conquered islands don't count. I may build over any existing action location with another action location by adding one additional wood to its normal cost. Place a new location on top of the old one. The old one is no longer available. Each time I explore, I may spend a raid to gain an additional building site. All right. Scoring changes. Each action location that was built over and stayed underneath is worth 2 victory points at the end of the game, while the ones on the top are still worth only 1. Okay, I was about to say, man, it's going to be hard to get victory points in this one. I'm going to have to find ways. Maybe I should have taken that other thing. Each island within your empire is worth 2 instead of 1. That's pretty cool. Each person in my outpost headquarters is worth 1. And that's cool. So this could be one to just get a bunch of people. All right. I always have this one available. It's an outpost headquarters. As an action, I can assign one person to explore, which could be pretty cool if I could find a way to get some raid tokens, because then it lets me get an additional building site. So that could be pretty cool. I get 5 building sites. That might also help me on space here. Since I only have 5 building sites. We are set up and ready to go. Let's move on to the first lookout phase, which lets me draw 4 from my deck. 4. Drew twin ships. Each time I pillage, I gain a victory point. Quick raid is an instant. During this cell, I may immediately resolve a pillage or a conquer. I already got one of those. Treasury. Each time I conquer, I gain a victory point and a gold. And a boost that lets me unexhaust all my conquered islands. I might have chose the right faction for this because I haven't really seen any actions. I've only seen features. Which means I shouldn't run out of sight. Yeah, I really don't see anything to spend people on, so I'm gonna go ahead and just keep all 4. So that costs me 4 of my workers. And I get all these. Now we resolve the scenario event, which is 8. So it's number 4, which is local help. So I get to explore. All right, since I get to explore, I'm gonna boost that explore, put the Salmon Fjord in. And then my explorer is hunting trophies, an action. It lets me, there we go. I needed that raid token. Nice. Let's go ahead and build that. Just to show, it took 2 wood to build. I'll go ahead and use a worker to exhaust that to gain a raid token and a victory point. All right. Now I just got to plan out. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my action tokens to construct for free. I'll build the treasury. Now, according to the Outpost rules, it says that only action locations equal to the number of my building sites use a food. To move this over here to sell. I'm going to boost that sell to where I get to, if I decide to pillage or conquer, I get to do it immediately. I'm going to go ahead and conquer. So in order to conquer, I have to use the raid token, and I'm going to use the fish so I can go to a distant one. And since it resolves immediately, and I'm going to choose the new island. So I gain the new island, which gives me a fish and a stone. Because I conquered, The treasury says every time I conquer, I gain a victory point and a gold. I'm gonna go ahead and use the gold and the stone to build twin ships. Says each time I pillage, I gain a victory point. Go ahead and use my other action pawn to sell. Choose to sell to the Drunken Octopus Island. All right, we're gonna move to the explore phase. So I'm gonna go ahead and pillage this. Since I pillaged the Drunken Octopus Island, gain a fish. I'll get my blue fish instead of the. Gain a sheep. And a victory point. So cleanup phase, I get all my workers back. Exhaust all my cards. Get my action pawns, and since this is a solo game, we have to flip over where action pawns were, which sell was on there. So now sell is more expensive and costs fish to sell. Forgot to put the turnaround marker out there, but now we're moving on to round 2 anyways. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and move these features over here. And I will, in this case, we'll put the round marker over here on 0. We go here and reveal the 2 islands. First, the nearby ones. We have Raft Island, Fragmented Glacier, Distant Island, Sheepland, Gulliver Island. Move the lookout phase, draw 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4. We drew Small Port. Be a cheaper way to sell. Renar's Smokehouse. Valkyrie. Spend a dude to choose one of my boats on the expedition board and immediately resolve a pillage. And another 100 trophies. So I'm going to discard Renar's Smokehouse. I'm going to keep these 3, the Valkyrie, the Small Port, and the hunting trophies. Which means I have to spend 3 workers. Two, which is the King's Support. So I gain, because 2 equals 1, so because 1 and 2 is 1, so gain 2 raid token. Did forget when I pillaged earlier, I was supposed to gain a victory point. I don't see anything that needs sheep for, so I'm going to spend a sheep to populate from my new island. So I get to activate a populate. I'm going to boost the populate with Floki's Workshop, which gives me another ship. So now I have 3 ships. And then now I populate, which gives me another worker. Go ahead and activate an action to sell, which costs me a fish because it's more expensive. Going to boost that sell so I get to resolve it immediately with the pillage and the conquer. So I'm going to use one of my boats, and I am going to conquer. So I use up one of the raid tokens. I get to resolve it immediately as I go to the Fragmented Glacier. So I gain the Fragmented Glacier. So that gives me a fish and a stone. Fish and stone. Because I have the treasury, each time I conquer, I gain a victory point and a gold. I'm gonna build the small port, which costs me a stone and a wood. Use the gold for my wood. There's my stone and my wood. To build that small port. I'm gonna go ahead and use my action pawn to harvest. I'm gonna choose the spruce forest, so I get 2 wood. Spend a wood to build Valkyrie. Spend a dude, gain a stone. I'm gonna activate hunting trophies, so I'm gonna spend a dude. To gain 1 raid token and a victory point. Then I'm gonna do small port, where I'm gonna spend a dude and a fish to sell. And I am gonna put a raid token on it and a fish. And so I'm gonna put it on Sheep Island. Then we're gonna go to the expedition phase. So expedition phase means I get to resolve this. So since I conquered it, these go away. Gain sheep land, which is gonna give me a sheep and a stone. And because I conquered, I get to gain a victory point and a gold. Then we go to clean up. I get all my workers back. I get these back. Sell does not become cheaper because I had a token on it. Harvest becomes more expensive, so it takes a sheep now to harvest. These go away. We see the new ones. New nearby island is Witch Island. Spend 1 resource to gain a resource. Bermuda Triangle. Spend a stone to unexhaust 1 card in your empire. Fairy Island. Spend a food to harvest. Fire Island. Spend a wood to sell. So we move to round 3. Do the lookout phase. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the white keep. Each time I activate a conquered island, I may resolve the effect twice. That seems pretty good. Just really hard to build. Got a feeling I'll be using that construct action. The loading dock, each time I sell, I gain a sheep. That could be pretty good. The offering, spend 3 different resources to gain victory point. And then another offering, spend 3 different resources to gain 3 victory points. I'm going to discard the offerings because I really don't think I care about victory points. That may hurt me later. So I'm keeping White Keep and Loading Dock. So that takes me 2 of my workers over on the Spent Workers actions. Now we got to resolve the random action or the scenario event. Should be 10, which I would really like, but it was cocked. So, oh hey, 10 anyways. So Outpost Support. I keep forgetting about this to where I can explore. I don't think I had any workers left. I didn't have any workers left last time. But it's Outpost Support because I rolled a 10. So I get to gain a wood, a stone, a food, and a sheep. A wood, a stone, a food, and a sheep. This is completely opposite from my last game where I couldn't get resources with that faction. So I'm gonna go ahead and use an action pawn to build White Keep with Construct. So I get to build the White Keep for free, which is gonna make it where when I activate my conquered islands, I get the effect twice. So this turns out not to be as amazing as I thought it was gonna be, just because it just means I get to activate the action twice. I'm gonna go ahead and build with Loading Dock. It only takes me a stone to build. Each time I sell, I gain a sheep. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest, which costs me a sheep because it's more expensive to harvest. I'm gonna choose the Quiet Gulf, which is upgraded, so I get 2 fish. Spin a dude and a fish to sell. I'm gonna choose to put a conqueror on it. But I'm not gonna do the conqueror. I'm just gonna put the ship out here. I'm gonna spend a worker, choose one of my expeditions on the board and immediately resolve 1 pillage. Choose to pillage one of these. Because I just realized it's a feature. Because I sailed, I gain a sheep. I'm gonna go ahead and pillage this one, the Bermuda Triangle, which gives me 2 food and a victory point. And because I pillaged with the twin ships, I get another victory point. Spend a sheep. Populate with my new island, and I'll go ahead and, oh, this is a feature also. This isn't even an action. Man, I'm messing these up left and right. I got 2 open spaces. So I'll go ahead and activate the new island with both because of the White Keep. So I get to populate twice, which is gonna give me 2 more people. I have this building I can use 1 time per turn. So as an action, I'm gonna spend 1 dude to explore. So there's my 1 dude to explore. So I drew Priest of Thor. As an action, I can spend a raid token to gain 2 victory points or 2 gold. Just because I can, I'm gonna go ahead and spend the 2 stone to build Priest of Thor. So there's the 1, 2 stone. This is an action, so I am putting it in the right spot. Then I'm gonna go ahead and build my second hunting trophies. Takes 2 wood. 2 wood. Hunting trophies. I'm going to spend a food to move this over to here, which costs me a fish also because it's more expensive. That's going to let me sell. So I'm adding that. I'm going to spend a dude here to gain a raid token. And a victory point. I'll go ahead and spend a person here to gain a fish and a victory point. Because I sailed, I gotta remember that. God, I've got too many features going on. Because I sailed, I did get a sheep. We'll go ahead and activate my sheep land, which says I can spend a person to unexhaust something in my empire. So I unexhaust the small port. I'll just spend a food to move this here. Populate, which will give me another dude. And then I'll use the dude and the fish to sell. Because I sailed, I remembered loading dock this time, I get a sheep. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a raid token and use the gold as a fish. So I can go for a distant. So I should gain a distant and one of the nearby and the other nearby. And then I'm gonna move on to the exploration phase. So we know we get this one no matter what with this. And we're conquering. So because I conquered, I get the building bonus of 1 gold. And because I have the treasury, I get a victory point and a gold. And I got nearby our Witch Island. All right, and then I'm gonna choose the Fairy Island, which is gonna give me a wood and a food for conquering. There's the food, there's the wood. And because I conquered, the treasury gives me a victory point and a gold. And then these go away. And then we move to clean up. So I get all my workers back. This goes away. I get these back. Harvest becomes cheaper. Sell stays expensive. Populate becomes expensive. Costs of wood now to populate. And we see the 2 new nearbys. We got Haunted Island. Each time I conquer, I gain a gold. That'd been a great early game. Arabian Coast. Spend 1 gold to gain any 2 resources. And then we get 2 distant islands. We get Turtleback, spend a fish to explore. And Little Fort, spend 1 stone to construct. We go to the 4th and last turn. Go to the lookout phase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guardhouse, that would have been really great early, especially when I was doing all those constructs. There's another guardhouse, would have been great. offering. I have been sitting on a bunch of resources. Naval Scouts, spend a raid token to draw a card and gain a victory point. I'm just going to discard one of the guardhouses. I'll keep the rest. Do the action. 3 means number 2, which is I may spend 2 people to gain 2 building sites. I'm not going to do that. Don't feel like I need more building sites. All right, let's get into it. Oh, I forgot. Since I kept 3, I had to put 3 workers over here. Go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and construct. I'm going to go ahead and boost the construct and build the guardhouse. Thing I'm going to construct is the offering site. I will cover up the Valkyrie with offering. I'm going to spend a person to gain a raid token and a victory point. I'm going to spend a food on Fairy Island to harvest. I will choose the Quiet Gulf, which will give me 2 fish. I'm going to spend a person to build Naval Scout. I'm going to spend the axe to draw a card, which is another Valkyrie, and gain a victory point. Go ahead and use my other one to harvest. I'll choose the guardhouse and get 2 more raid tokens. I'm going to activate this with the white keep to populate twice. Spend 1 and 1 to sell. Spend a person at Sheepland to unexhaust this. Oh, because I sold, I get a sheep. I'm gonna go ahead and activate this again to sell, so I don't forget my sheep. I'm gonna grab my sheep now and sell. Spend 1 to gain this, a raid token and a victory point. I'm going to spend a food, remove this here, which makes me have to spend a fish because it's more expensive, so I use gold to sell with my 3rd ship I finally am using, and we'll use that as a fish. And that. I'm going to spend this gold as a food. Move this over to explore to let me draw another card. Would have been another small port. That would have been nice. I can't really sail again. Oh, I forgot I did sail. God, I have been forgetting that whole game. I think I remembered one time. I'm going to activate Witch Island and spend 1 resource to gain 1 other resource. Spend that resource to make it a, I don't really care, a stone. You know what? And I'll go ahead and make sure White Keep does it twice, so I'm doing that. And gain it as a food, which is considered a resource. I'm going to activate offering with a sheep, a food, and a stone, which gives me 3 victory points. I can use a wood to build the other Valkyrie. I'll just put it on top of Priest of Thor. Make sure there's nothing else underneath that. That at least makes Priest of Thor worth a little bit more, if I remember that thing correctly. And then we just move on to the expedition phase and score up the game. Let's see what happens. So I move to the expedition phase. I'm going to be able to get 1 distant and 2 nearbys. So it really don't matter which one I take, because the resources are all counted as the same and I don't really get to use the actions. So I get both nearbys, which give me 2 fish, and 2 stone. And then I'm going to go ahead, just because I feel like having the fish one, since that's the only difference is fish or wood. I'll take the turtle back, let the little fort go. Turtle back gives me a fish. And a food. And then I got turtle back. And that is it. Now we just score everything up. Let's clean up a little bit here first, just to make sure we have everything the way it's supposed to be. This goes away, this goes away. These go over here. I got a lot of dudes over here. If I remember right, those are good victory points. We'll see. All right, I need to keep these kind of like this. These are resources I can get rid of. All right, let's see how this scored up. So scoring changes. Just right now, I'm starting at 19. All right, let's just look at the scoring changes. Each action location that was built over is worth 2 at the end of the game, while the ones on the top are still worth 1. So because I have this one, this is 2, 3. This only had 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11 victory points. Just going to get this out of the way. Each island within your empire is worth 2 victory points instead of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 more. So 46. And then each person in the outpost headquarters is worth 1 victory point. Oh, I misread that. So I only ever sent 1 person to the outpost headquarters. Oh man, I could have sent a second one and explored. I just get 1 because I only sent 1 to the outpost headquarters. So basically he would have stayed there. Nothing told me that he stays there. Oh, it does say assign. I didn't pay attention to it saying assign instead of spend. Yeah. My bad if I messed that up. I know last turn I had extra people. I don't know. I might have spent all my people on the other turn, but I'll see when I do the re-edit. But 47. And then I guess everything else scores up the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from 47 to 56. And then every 2 resources are 1. So 1, 2, 3. So 59. And then that should be it. So I won with the Outpost and the Ulaf Clan. and that makes at a score of 59. I'll see if I made any mess ups, and we'll be back to play the other two clans that I haven't played yet, the Nanurjuk clan and the McKinnon clan. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.